Can one man's voice really reshape an entire genre and then fall silent just when the world needs it most? Dwight Yoakam did exactly that. His story isn't only about country music or fame. It's about a restless soul who refused to be polished, a rebel who brought grit back to a genre that was losing its heart. From the worn-out bars of Kentucky to the bright lights of Los Angeles, his voice became a bridge between eras, turning nostalgia into revolution. Yet behind every hit song and sharp stage presence, there's a quieter, more fragile truth, one that fame never cared to understand. Dwight Yoakam's journey began in Pikeville, Kentucky, a place where the echoes of Hank Williams and Buck Owens poured from every small-town radio. His family didn't have much, but what they lacked in comfort they made up for in spirit. As a boy, Dwight absorbed every tune he could find, his mother's old records filling his world with stories of heartbreak and redemption. When the family moved to Columbus, Ohio, his fascination with music deepened. He wasn't formally trained. His guitar playing came from endless practice, trial, and pure stubborn will. Music became both his escape and his purpose, a way to express emotions too heavy for words. By his late teens, Yoakam was already performing anywhere that would have him: bars, fairs, school halls. But Nashville, the mecca of country music, wasn't impressed. They saw him as too raw, too rough around the edges. His Bakersfield-inspired twang didn't fit the glossy country sound dominating radio in the late 70s. Nashville wanted polish, not rebellion. The rejection could have broken him, but it did the opposite. He packed his bags and went west, chasing not fame, but freedom. Los Angeles in the early 1980s wasn't exactly a home for country music. It was a city pulsing with rock, punk, and rebellion. Yet somehow, that chaos became the perfect stage for Dwight Yoakam. He started playing small clubs, often sharing the bill with punk bands whose audiences didn't expect a cowboy hat and honky tonk rhythm. But that was the beauty of it. His authenticity cut through the noise. He wasn't pretending to be anyone else. His music had dirt on its boots and pain in its heart. Slowly, a new kind of crowd began to gather. Young people who'd grown tired of fake sounds and craved something real. His first independent release, Guitars, Cadillacs, etc., captured that raw honesty. When it was reissued nationally by Warner Reprise in 1986, the response was electric. The songs weren't just nostalgic, they were alive. Tracks like Honky Tonk Man and Guitars, Cadillacs reminded listeners what country music used to be: emotional, messy, sincere. The album went double platinum and forced Nashville to pay attention to the man they had once dismissed. Dwight Yoakam had arrived, not by changing himself, but by staying true. His next albums, Hillbilly Deluxe and Buenas Noches from a Lonely Room, turned success into legacy. His duet with Buck Owens, Streets of Bakersfield, became a symbolic moment, a torch being passed from one generation to another. The Bakersfield sound, once considered old-fashioned, was suddenly modern again. Dwight wasn't just making music. He was reshaping the identity of country itself. His sharp voice, tight jeans, and effortless swagger made him both a musician and a cultural figure. Rolling Stone called him one of the few artists who could unite critics and hardcore country fans. But beneath that cool exterior, the endless grind was taking a toll. The constant touring, recording, and proving himself wore him thin. Success, while intoxicating, brought its own kind of loneliness. Fame isolated him even as it celebrated him. Yoakam pushed through exhaustion because he felt he had to. He wasn't born into the Nashville elite. Every performance was another fight to keep his authenticity alive. The public saw a confident star, but behind that hat was a man quietly battling the weight of expectation. Then came acting, a passion he'd carried since college. Dwight had studied theater before music took over, and when Hollywood finally noticed him, he didn't waste the chance. His breakout role in Sling Blade stunned audiences. As Doyle Hargraves, he shed the musician image entirely, delivering a chilling, unforgettable performance that showed just how deep his talent ran. More roles followed: Panic Room, The Newton Boys, Crank, each proving that Yoakam wasn't a country singer dabbling in film, but an artist capable of transformation. Yet even with this new success, he remained an enigma. While tabloids chased his love life, Yoakam stayed mostly silent. Relationships came and went, including rumored ones with high-profile names like Sharon Stone, but he never confirmed much. Friends described him as deeply passionate yet intensely private, a man more comfortable expressing emotion through lyrics than conversation. That privacy, while admirable, also fed public curiosity. People wanted to know the man behind the music, but Dwight preferred to keep that door closed. During the 1990s, his songs began to mirror his internal struggles. 1,000 Miles from Nowhere wasn't just a hit, it was a confession. Its haunting loneliness captured a sense of drifting that success couldn't fill. While he still toured and released albums, the spark of his early days began to dim. Country music was evolving again, this time towards slicker, pop-infused sounds that left little room for the kind of grit Yoakam championed. Rather than compromise, he chose to step back, trading the spotlight for something quieter. By the 2000s, Dwight Yoakam was no longer the constant fixture he once was, but his influence hadn't faded. Artists like Chris Stapleton, Casey Musgraves, and even rock acts cited him as inspiration. He'd proven that authenticity could still win in a world obsessed with image. Yet fans began noticing changes: fewer appearances, more canceled shows, and a slower pace that hinted at something deeper. The man who once seemed unstoppable appeared tired, and concern began to spread. Then, in 2020, Dwight surprised everyone. At the height of the global pandemic, he quietly married his longtime partner, Emily Joyce. There was no grand media announcement, just a simple ceremony filled with love and peace. Soon after, they welcomed their first child, a son. For the first time in decades, Dwight seemed to find what had always eluded him: stability. The shift was profound. The cowboy who had lived his life under stage lights now wanted something far more ordinary: privacy, family, and stillness. This new chapter, however, came with uncertainty. His retreat from public life, while understandable, fueled rumors about his health. Fans noticed canceled performances and speculated about illness or fatigue. Social media magnified every sighting, every photograph, turning small observations into dramatic stories. Dwight, true to form, stayed silent. His refusal to address speculation only deepened the mystery. Was he unwell, or simply choosing peace over pressure? The truth remained unclear, wrapped in the same guarded privacy that had defined much of his life. What's undeniable is that age and time have taken their toll. Decades of performing, traveling, and living under constant scrutiny can wear down even the strongest artist. Those who've seen him perform recently describe moments of brilliance mixed with visible strain, a reminder that even legends are human. Still, fans hold on to hope. They believe that somewhere beneath the quiet, Dwight's creative fire still burns, waiting for the right moment to reappear. Even as questions linger, his legacy remains unshakable. Dwight Yoakam didn't just make country music, he reshaped it. When the genre drifted toward pop and lost its soul, he dragged it back to its roots with grit, twang, and heart. He reminded people that country wasn't about polish, it was about truth. His songs didn't rely on trends, they told stories of real people, heartache, and perseverance. That's why decades later, his records still sound fresh, still speak to listeners who crave something honest. For fans, his music isn't just entertainment, it's memory. Streets of Bakersfield brings back dusty roads and open skies. 1,000 Miles from Nowhere echoes during lonely drives. Each song carries a piece of him, a reminder that great music never really belongs to one person. It becomes part of everyone who listens. That's why his apparent absence feels so personal. When Dwight Yoakam goes quiet, it feels like the silence of an old friend. Rumors continue to swirl, but they can't overshadow what he's already accomplished. His debut alone changed the course of country history, sparking a revival that opened doors for countless others. Every artist who dares to be raw and unfiltered in a world of overproduction owes something to Dwight Yoakam. He gave country music its backbone again, reminding both Nashville and its fans that imperfection can be powerful. As he steps further from the spotlight, many wonder if we've heard the last of him. Some imagine him content in the simplicity of family life, playing guitar at home, far from flashing cameras. Others dream of a quiet comeback, a small stage, a weathered voice, and a crowd hanging on every word. Maybe both visions are true in their own way. Perhaps Dwight Yoakam's story isn't about endings at all, but about balance, finally finding peace between fame and the man beneath the hat. No matter what comes next, his music will continue to outlive rumors and headlines. It's the kind of art that defies time, the kind that connects generations. New artists still cover his songs, young fans still discover his records, and old ones still find comfort in the same lyrics that once got them through heartbreak or change. His influence runs deep because it's built on honesty, a rare currency in any era. As the years pass, it becomes clearer that Dwight Yoakam's real triumph isn't just in his success, but in his staying power. Even in silence, he remains a figure of fascination and respect. The cowboy who defied Nashville, conquered Hollywood, and then chose a quieter life did something few can. He walked away on his own terms. And that, in a world that demands constant visibility, might be his boldest act of all. For now, fans hold on to the hope that his story still has another verse left to sing. Whether he steps on stage again or keeps his world private, the mark he's left is permanent. Dwight Yoakam gave music back its honesty, its twang, and its heart. And as long as those songs keep playing, he'll never truly fade from view. If you felt moved by Dwight Yoakam's story, by his resilience, his music, or the mystery that keeps him timeless, don't forget to show your support. Like this video, share it with fellow fans, and subscribe to the channel for more stories that celebrate the legends who shaped music history. Dwight may have gone quiet for now, but his voice still echoes wherever true country music is played.